Still stretching. You still getting loose for the night.
Yeah.
You good?
Yes. Yes.
Herb Mirage podcast. Another
We are
wonderful
back.
Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't go transfer or do anything crazy the
No.
last few minutes.
No.
Okay.
No, not yet.
So I saw a great comment just to start here. Yes, come on, like,
Thank you, Cap. We
subscribe.
appreciate that.
We are trying to make our march towards 100, and we lost somebody in the last couple of days. We're back at 95.
I noticed that today. Somebody dipped off on us, but that's okay. That's okay.
It hurts a little. Not gonna lie, it's tough. I shed a few tears, but we will survive. We will move on.
We'll survive. We'll get it back. For every one we lose, we're gonna gain 2, so we'll be all right.
The Alpha saying hello to Cats. It was our good buddy
Good
Randy
evening,
sitting
Randy.
over there. Yep. Thank you, Randy. Hopefully so. And then there's always how many autographs do you think Randy signed today?
I'm assuming between 25, 30 right now. Give it about closer to football. That's going to be in the 1,500 to 2,000 range.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
But thank you everybody for the first comments. Thank you for the last couple weeks of guests, both Bama Beat and Stephen M. Smith, for both checking us out. Like we said, please subscribe. We're trying to get more subscribers. So, and Randy admits it already. So, cramped. So, we've got our bracket challenge going on as well. You see the title towel in the background there. The winner of our bracket challenge, and you see we've posted it all over. Twitter. We'll get it on YouTube as well. Winner gets 2 title towels. If you happen to be somebody who's not a Bama fan, which hurts us, and you don't want the title towels, they will still go to someone else.
Let us know.
We'll figure something out for us. But what more perfect way to say maybe our one subscriber who left will come back. I mean, so Raj calls me about 5:36. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this afternoon, Herb and I are part of also a group chat with Alabama football fans in like the WhatsApp app. And we get a message from one of my friends, my high school buddies, Gabe. Shout out to Gabe. And he posts that Caden Proctor is leaving Iowa, and I guess he's supposedly coming back to Alabama. First thought is, of course, got to call Herb. I called her first, and we're thinking, is this true? Is it accurate? So we do what
that was my first, my exact question. Is this for real?
Yeah. So we do what everybody does nowadays: is you go straight to social media, especially Twitter or X or whatever you call it, and you want to see how many people are posting this. Is it somewhat accurate, and are the right sources? That's the most serious part. Are the right sources posting this? Because like certain people out there will post things, and they'll be like, "Oh, I knew it was coming, and it won't come true." So.
Right.
I went out there. A lot of people posted it. A lot of right sources posted it, and apparently it's true. Yep. So Caden Proctor is going to enter the transfer portal again, and he's
now. Is it even returning? He didn't even play a game for them.
That's the thing. I feel like it looks like a temporary ish case of being homesick. I think he wanted to go back home for a few months and say, "Hey, just miss you guys." Maybe he wanted to see an old girlfriend, whatever the case may be.
That's what I thought, Raj. That's what I thought.
That's what it seems like. So now he's coming back. I mean, obviously, well, first of all, how do you feel about the whole situation? And
the first question is the old girlfriend coming back with him?
That could be a hindrance. Yeah, we don't want that. You know what? He might have a girlfriend back in our Tuscaloosa though.
Good.
Shout out to Mr.
U. What's up? Yeah. So my gut reaction was, okay, cool. We'll take him because he did improve as the year went along, right? And one of the questions is, and Kat, I see your comment. That's definitely going to be next on our list of things to talk about.
Yeah.
I was like, do I go the petty route and say, if you left, we don't want you back, or do we realize? And this is one of probably the bigger problems with the transfer portal is, there's 18 to 20-year-old kids trying to make life decisions, and whims and money come at you. So when he left, my only part of it that I didn't like was like he was going to Iowa, and I was like, you're going to do nothing next year.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, you're going somewhere to a team, even with the 12-team playoff, you're probably still not going to make it in as a playoff team because the Big Ten is going to be even more difficult to get through now. You're not going to be on. I don't know how many Iowa games are going to be nationally televised.
How many did you remember seeing last year?
I didn't even watch their championship game with Michigan. I didn't even turn into that. So I was.
Let's say this: there was more articles about their lack of offensive effectiveness than there was about how good their defense was.
Right. So he was going to go up there and just block, and just hope and pray that the quarterback throws the ball, or hope that they score a touchdown. So, I mean, anyway, I guess my question to you is, how do you feel? Are you excited, happy, still confused?
Still confused. Okay. It's too easy to say happy. I mean, like I said, he did improve as the year went along, and it's always good for the optics of things when you have a player who left comes back, no matter who that person is. So that's interesting. I mean, as somebody posted, he basically went up there long enough to make them self-report a violation, and then came right back. So he was like,
and then came right back.
I just came to get y'all in trouble. So it's like, it's too early for me to say excited.
Yeah,
but it's cool, I guess.
It's cool. I don't think it's gonna hurt us anyway. I was gonna say, imagine how his family members feel like, you're really killing us. Like, we can't even go to the local grocery store anymore.
That's what yes. They better be moving out of Iowa. Like, whatever. So did he get an NIL deal at Iowa already, or does it have to wait till
that? I don't know.
I mean,
I have no idea about that. I couldn't tell you that. For me personally, I'm fine with it. I mean, as you mentioned, a few times, he did improve as the season progressed. I think he ended up all SEC freshman team, etc. He was really, really good at the left tackle position. It's not going to be a loss for us. I guess now the question is, how do you treat the guys that were still at the team, that never left, and that have been put in the work the past few months? But obviously, from a coach's perspective, you're going to play the best player. So
right.
So some of those guys,
there's some kind of hazing involved, and the players will handle that. But he's a big boy, so I don't know how much hazing you're talking about. And then, like I said, he never even played a game for them. Did he go to their first spring practice and go, "Oh, heck no"?
Maybe that's what it is. Think about it. Spring practices started about 2 weeks ago, so that's probably what it is. He was like, "Dude, we're gonna get killed up here. We're gonna lose like 6 or 7 games. I'm going back down south. I'm gonna go back to Alabama. They've got a new coaching scheme. Things are gonna be different. I should be able to get my starting position back since technically he never lost it. I mean, if you think about it, nothing happened. So."
That's
another thing. I think
deal with a dealership. Never put on a jersey.
I think Cat brought up a good comment right here. The last one. I think he compared facilities. He went out there. He was like, "Wow, your chow hole's kind of small. I mean, you guys don't even have Taco Tuesdays. What is going on up here?"
So I will say this: I feel bad for Iowa for losing their biggest recruit twice. Like, you shouldn't jerk folks around like that. I mean, at some point you got to.
That's why,
even for our benefit, it's like we're hurting schools like Washington, Iowa, that I got no beef with. I'm like, I'm okay with both those schools, and now we're just taking stuff from them. So, do we post this from your best friend here?
No, we can't. I'm sorry. He's laughing. He's laughing knowing that I just said that. But shout out to my best friend Carlton Avery. Hope all is well with you and the fam. I called him earlier. He did not answer, but we will talk later.
Okay.
We're not going to push your message for obvious reasons. No, he's a big fan of the other team in Alabama, and they have some sort of saying. I forget what it means. Go Frogs, or
because the people on YouTube cannot see his comment because he's commenting on another platform. I think.
Yes, I like that.
So which, by the way, we've had really good the past couple weeks as far as viewership. Man, jump on. I think Twitter's the only place where you can't. So if you're on Twitter, jump over on YouTube. We love your comments. We'll post your stuff. If you happen to follow us on Facebook, post something. We'll post 99% of what you post. So yeah, come on and just talk to us, get some stuff out there. So. And yes, this is another reason why. I mean, if you spent the time and resources and you're paying somebody to get them there, and then they can still it just It's worse than NFL free agency, which is something we'll talk about later. Kids, it's just going crazy. So it's just.
And before we move on, I guess everybody, especially in Bama Nation, is speculating like, are there other names to follow?
Well, hold on. So are you done with Proctor? Because I got to post the first comment.
I'm finished. I finished. Yes.
Okay. So. This, and guess what?
I saw this.
Caleb Downs is trending on Twitter now.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I Googled his name too just to see, and I saw a couple weeks ago where he unfollowed some people from Ohio State or whatever. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, obviously, I would love for it to happen, but I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket.
I feel like that one is less.
That's a reach
for sure.
Yeah,
but it would be hilarious. Like somebody posted, Caleb Downs has the chance to do the funniest thing ever. So,
and if you think about it, Caleb Downs is in a better position than Proctor is because he's at Ohio State. They have a good chance to be a top 3 team in the nation. Right. Iowa was top 20, I guess. I don't know, maybe if that.
Top 5 defense, top 100 offense.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Caleb Downs got some nice little NIL money as well. So I don't know how that works. I don't know if you can rescind from your contract, or I don't know if they could. I don't know how any of that NIL stuff works. So
yeah. So, and this is one that always worries me. And the Josh Pate, I guess, said the Proctor move is not even one of the craziest moves that he knows is about to be coming. So, the spring portal is going to be crazy right after the spring game. So, I still feel like we lose a quarterback after the spring.
I agree. I agree 100%. Who are you looking at? Lonergan?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Lonergan. I feel like Simpson feels like he's pretty close to starting. And Lonergan is maybe a step on. This is obviously without having been in a practice or seen anything. And then none of the last 2 guys that we had on here said anything about it. So
I agree. I think Simpson would stay because he knows he's the number 2. And then Austin Mack, I don't think he's.
And I agree, Randy. Like I think that's a trending thing, and I think after he left Ohio State, I think he's good. I'm sorry.
But no, I mean, Caleb Downs is going to trend, obviously, for obvious reasons. So that's it. But that'll die down soon. Regarding the quarterbacks, I think Simpson stays because he's the number 2. Austin Mack stays because he's under the impression that next year will be his year. So we'll see what happens. So that just leaves Lonergan kind of like in limbo. So I would not be surprised if he left. And I wish him nothing but the best. But of course, we'll see. When is the official day for the spring window? Do we have the date, or is it just like?
It's like. I think for us, it's like 2 weeks after our game is over. Last year was 1, I think.
Okay.
But I'll find it for you, Raj. Closes on the 30th, yeah. So it's like a couple weeks after.
That's
the weirdest window. It's like it opens on the 15th and closes on the 30th. So.
Right. Yep. So.
That's why when people were like, did Alabama trap any players here? I'm like, nobody's trapped anywhere in college football. There's transfer windows like all over the place. You go wherever you want.
You can do what you want to do. Yep.
So, do you think any player has, for Alabama, I know the obvious is, any player has more pressure on them than Milroe coming into this year?
Just Alabama?
Yeah.
Or in the country?
Alabama first and in the country.
If
you're going country wise, I almost think it's Day and Kiffin. As far as
you said coach, I think you said player.
No, I didn't say. I said anybody, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't really know that much of players from other places. I might think Dylan Gabriel, going to Oregon, having to carry them. But I think those players, like for Alabama, I think it's clearly Milroe that has the most pressure on him coming into this year.
Yeah, because this is going to be probably, depending on how things go, this is going to be his last year. It's going to be his highlight year. He's also not only just trying to help us get in the playoff and win a national championship, but he also has to build his resume heavily for the NFL draft. I mean, he's got to make drastic changes this year that we are all hoping to see this fall. So if he can do that, and if he can make these changes, he could be a first rounder, maybe second rounder. Just again, it depends on what we see. Based on last year, I don't think he's first round draft pick, but we will see how he progresses this fall.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we have a player that he could either be a Heisman candidate or benched halfway through the year. It's like
exactly. That's what I'm saying. If we see the same, if he starts off this fall the same way he started off last fall, I could see that happening. Coach DeBoer is like, look, I personally just realistically don't have a lot of patience. Like, I don't have the chance to do that. I don't have a lot of wiggle room, so I'm gonna have to make a change now. So maybe they put in Ty Simpson and just go from there.
So Randy kind of stole like what I was gonna say because you mentioned ETN, but it's like that's why I think there's like 0% pressure on him. So I wouldn't count him in this category. I think he's more of a luxury for Georgia. and I think he'll be fine. Yeah. But like if he quit tomorrow, I think Georgia would be fine. So I don't think it's
he'll be fine. Yeah,
I don't think there's a pressure situation for him. I think he moved himself into a better situation, obviously. But everybody,
yeah, he admitted that. He admitted that. He said he wanted to go to running back 1 at a team that can actually win a national championship, as opposed to running back 1 or 2 in Florida. And who knows what bowl, if a bowl, Florida goes to this fall.
I don't know if she's saying they're going to start talking about or just taking, but it's funny how much flack he got for what he said when he was essentially kind of just warning y'all once again about how crazy this portal and NIL and everything is and what kids' motivation is. And we talked about it on that Monday thing that we do. The point that I think people forget of what he's trying to make is kids used to enter their college thinking I've got a 3-year plan to make it to the NFL, and develop myself. And if I don't get there, I'll be a much better person and I'll be ready to go out in the world. Now they enter thinking, how much money can I get?
How much money
in this next year? Not even in the next 3 years. And that's the problem with the motivation. And I think a lot of old school coaches are like, look, I'll be really hard on you. I'm gonna teach you. It's gonna be tough. The first year might be rough, but 3 years from now, you're going to be a much better player, whether you can make it an NFL or not. And I think that's what people, and they're like, oh, he just doesn't want them to get paid. He don't care about them getting paid. He's worried about the motivation is, I just want to get paid. So
he wants them to earn their pay too. Like if you're going to sign an NIL deal, go out there and show on the field why you should earn that money. And I think what people don't realize is that since he's now retired, he can come out and just publicly say a lot of things that a lot of coaches are also thinking. If you're still coaching, you might bite your tongue a little bit because you don't want to say things that are going to sway future prospects from coming to your school.
Right.
But like you said, and I think a good example for what he was talking about is it might be Caleb Downs, in my opinion. If you think about Caleb Downs, I understand he wants to leave since Nick Saban's not there. But you playing safety, it would only make sense for you if you want to continue to develop to go to Georgia. So you could play under one of the best defensive minds in the history of college football, and probably right now maybe the best coach in college football, and play for a national championship if you make it that far. If they win,
maybe you just said maybe. Yeah. You upset Randy. Randy's coming after you.
I know, but hey, we're still here. So, but realistically speaking, if you're Caleb Downs, wouldn't that just make sense to just go to Georgia and continue to develop there? But obviously, he went to Ohio State.
Instead of Ohio State or leaving Ohio State?
No, instead leaving Alabama and going to Georgia, that would be your best. That would be the best option for him. That's what I would think. But he said,
"No, you're thinking he just went for the money."
Yes. Yep.
Randy, is Raj better than Herb? Nah. Oh, thanks, Randy. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, I see how that works. Yeah. Wow.
Speaking of our coaches, did you see how much they getting paid all of a sudden?
The coaches are getting paid. I saw that when I was at work, and I was like, man, I wonder what I need to do to get on the staff there. Which
coach are you talking about, though?
All of them are getting paid. I mean, obviously, DeBoer's making money.
DB signed his,
Yes.
$87 million over 8 years.
Good Lord.
I mean, I'm hireable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Herb and I, we don't know all the X's and O's, but we can definitely help out. What do y'all need?
Yeah,
we can give some. Do you think you can give some motivational speeches, Herb?
I think I can clean the bathrooms for like a couple million.
Hey, you give me 200,000, I'm cleaning the heck out of those toilets.
Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious, and that man even coached the game here. Although I'll say this: anybody who decided to follow Saban definitely deserves some money to stay. So,
yeah.
I'm down with that. 87 million to make 10 million the first year, and it grows to 11.75 million in the final year. So,
but that's 10
what do you think the chances he
fit?
Yeah. What are the chances he finishes all 8 years?
That is a very, very good question. You're asking me right now on a scale like 1 to 10, 10 being all 8 years?
Yeah. Well, I said percentage, but if you want to do scales and because you don't know math very well, it's fine.
I'm gonna say 8. I'm gonna lean towards 8, and I've said this before. It's gonna depend on what happens these first 3 years. If we can win a national championship in these first 3 years, or at least make it to a national championship game, we're gonna be good. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, we missed the playoff. 12 team or 14 team, all 3 years. It's not gonna be pretty. Not gonna be pretty.
What was that face again? Oh my goodness.
I gotta get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't look any worse than you normally do anyway, so that's fine. And you did mention the 14. Everybody voted for it. Notre Dame agreed to it. So we could even get the 12 team right before we decided to move on to the 14.
Right. I
don't get it. I haven't looked at it enough yet to care about it.
I haven't either.
It just seems like what? I'm just that's my brother.
True though. I mean, we haven't even played a 12 team playoff yet to see how that's going to turn out. And now they're already talking about 14 teams. And I just feel like over time it's going to keep building. Oh man, if we had just put 2 more teams in, things would have been better. And it's going to be like that until eventually you got like a 32 teams playing college football. And I don't like that because regardless of what your ranking is, if you have, you're watering it down, and you're still giving, for example, this year, you're still giving the 12th seed a chance to win a national championship if they make it that far. Yeah. As opposed to previously, it was just you had 4 teams had the chance. That's it, and I was okay with that. So,
yeah, I don't like watering it down. I don't like more.
Yeah, I don't either.
6 or 8, I would have been fine with, and they should have left it there. Yeah. So,
I mean,
like Kat just said,
if you lose too many games and you just don't make it in, you just don't make it in. It is what it is. So,
yeah. What do you think is the perfect amount? Don't say 4.
I was really. That's what I was going to say. I was happy with 4.
So you think 4 is better than 6?
I could see why you can make an argument for 6. That way you can get your Power 5.
Is this a good debate topic?
I was not prepped for this one, but let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Right. Debate series starting back up again.
Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised?
You're the one that jumped in with it. So, for those who don't know, Raj and I like to debate certain topics. Some of them prep, some of them random, and we keep score. And we have an independent judge who will come in and usually judge them. So, Raj, we're debating 4 versus 6. The table is to you, sir.
Okay, I'll go with 4, I guess. Again, I don't have my laptop and notes out in front of me as this is off the whim, but and I hope that I do a good job. But I'm going to go for the 14 playoff. I've been okay with the 14. I always feel like at the end of the day, the 4 best teams have usually been selected. Now, obviously, we can all go back to a few years where we said this team should have been in. This past year, Florida State made a case. I was okay with them not being in, and once Alabama won the SEC championship, I said they're not getting in. People can make the case for Georgia should have been in. It is what it is. I feel like at the end of the day, it's always going to be the top 4, and regardless of how many you put in, 6, 8, 12, 14, there's always going to be teams on the outside looking in. Sorry, you just didn't get the job done.
So you're advocating for a playoff which had controversies at least the last 2 years. So first off,
regardless of the amount of teams, you're going to have controversy. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter,
right? But you had 5 You had 5 Power 5 conferences, and you had 4 champions. Your math was already terrible. At least with
I didn't.
At least with 6, and when the conference stayed the same, you could have had 5 in a wild card, and that's much more inclusive. It makes the conference years and the conference tournaments much more important, and the championship games much more important, and you wouldn't have had this debacle that you had last year with Florida State. You're saying, hey, you're okay with the missing. But you're saying you're okay with the missing because you're an Alabama fan.
Last year, you're an Alabama fan too, Genius.
If it was reversed, Alabama would be burning down the entire college football.
If it was reversed. It was reversed because we won the SEC championship. That knocked out Georgia, and Florida State did not look good in the ACC championship. And I saw it when I was watching the game. I was like, yeah, you cannot put that team in the playoff. And Georgia had it. Georgia had it right there in the palm of their hand.
All I'm saying is what you did with your little 14 playoff is invalidate a whole season worth of victories. All right, 6 is a much better number.
It isn't. It isn't. I disagree.
4 is awful. 4 is just not.
If 6 is a better number, why didn't they have 6 from the jump? Why did they select 4 from the jump?
Because the committee didn't ask me. Clearly, I would have advocated for 6. 6 would have been much better.
That's the worst rebuttal you've ever given me.
What?
That's the
and
worst
just think
rebuttal
about
you've ever
this.
given me.
Just think about this. Last year, you could have had all 5 conference champions in, and then a wild card, and you still could have kept Georgia out, and then Georgia fans would be much.
Wow.
Yeah,
Georgia had it. Georgia dropped the ball literally in the championship game too.
They were still one of the best teams. Four was just
they were.
4 is still
I agree.
Georgia
was one of the best 4, but we beat them, so that's on them.
So you're not advocating
their prize. And their prize was playing an undermanned Florida State team and beating them like 100-7. So
yes,
I know they felt bad for having
Georgia. Yeah. So, are you done with your points? Do you want to see who won the debate?
Honestly, I wasn't even trying to make a valid point because I know where this is leading to. So go ahead, let's do it.
Let's see. Well, we'll get judges. That's fine. Let's see.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, it's Maddie. Thank you for inviting me to the Herb and Raj podcast. I listen to both sides, but sorry, Raj. Herb won this one. Roll Tide.
Oh.
Really? You're bringing?
We can get a second. We can get a second.
Thank you for inviting me on the Herb and Raj podcast series. I listen to both sides of the debate, but sorry, Raj. Herb won. Shaka.
I mean, you can't even claim that there's bias anymore because, well, one of them does look like me, but that was clearly not me. Let's go ahead and check the score for the debate series. Oh, there we go.
Really?
So,
oh my gosh. Now you got questions in the comments. You just, oh gosh. Okay. I think I know what I'm gonna have to do to win one of your little funky debates.
Oh. I thought it was fair. So
it doesn't matter what you say.
But exactly. That clearly was not me. It may have looked a little like me, but it wasn't me this time. Clearly.
What looked like you?
The second person out there. They favor me a lot.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know. I like the playoff Randy though because we do get a winner. I just don't like the way we've reached it most of the time. But I do like having I might like it much better than like your 2 best teams playing in 2 separate bowls and people voting.
That's the thing. They had at first we had just one number 1 playing number 2, and I guess people didn't like that, so they expanded it to 4. So now people don't like that, so now it's going to 12. Now it's going to 14,
like I said, but before the 2, Raj, it was all voting. So the top 2 teams might not even play each other.
Right.
Was Georgia? I'll be honest, Randy. I don't remember anything from this past season, so I can't accurately comment on that any longer. The season has hurt me too much. So
I mean, we mentioned that. Yeah, Georgia was one of the best 4.
Now, Randy, you've taken plenty of shots at us now, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not taking shots. They lost the game, so he can take it however he wants to. I mean, we won the game, they lost, and they ended their 500-game win streak, etc. Blah 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 blah. It is what it is.
Yeah,
we saw it happen.
Yeah. These are the nieces. These are the nieces, the main 2 that hang out with us. So that's third. I don't see how that was independent judging. That both watched both of them. So that already says, I think that's him laughing. Yeah.
All right.
And he should have said expand and play. Oh, my title towel. All right, people, title towel. There's 2 of those on the line. Go out, fill out your brackets. We've posted them several times. Fill out your brackets. There's a chance to win 2 of them in our bracket challenge.
Shout out to the title challenge. I have mine behind me. I just did not get set up prior, which is my mistake. I take full accountability for that. My bad. But I do have mine here, so love it.
There may or may not be forgiveness. We will see. So thank you, title towel, for all that he does for us behind the scenes. All right, Raj. You got a little I guess NFL stuff. We've missed a lot of free agency stuff. But I told you we were going to give you a chance to talk first about it. Yeah, happy or upset at your Dolphins?
Upset. I know I answered that pretty quickly. I'm upset that Christian Wilkins. I really like Christian Wilkins ever since we drafted him out of Clemson. I think he's played well for us, starting linebacker or starting defensive line. I'm sorry, and had a good season last year. Very, very productive. Him and Van Ginkel. I'm sorry, but apparently we had to free up some cap space, which every team does.
Are you not surprised that the cap space went up like a record amount and people were cutting?
It did, and we had to free it up. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it's kind of weird. And if you think about it, defensively is where we were lacking this past year. I mean, offensively, I think we got a few holes to fill, but that was a little easier. We could take care of that. But defensively, we're gonna have to look, I guess, to build in the draft. That's my only guesses right now. I think Dolphins have the 24th pick in the draft. The last time I checked. I don't know which defensive players we have on the radar right now. Of course, me being biased, I'm going to say, oh, I'd love to have Dallas Turner, but I don't know where Dallas Turner's mocked to. I was under the impression he was like a top 10, top 15 pick.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think we'll get him, but there's going to be.
Yeah. So y'all right now, I think Mel Kiper's last one has you drafting a guard from Duke.
That's the thing. We got to work on this defense bad, and we still need help in the secondary as well. Jalen Ramsey was pretty hurt last year. Still ended up with a decent season, but we need help on the defensive side of the ball. Really, so childish.
Oh
wow!
Oh wow! I didn't see that. I didn't know that.
I didn't know he needed neck surgery.
By the way, the whole Chase Young thing in general is like number one pick. People say his motor doesn't run high enough at times, and that's why he's kind of like falling out of favor from here and there.
Yeah.
Well, Rod, somebody said they were. What? Are you watching basketball too as well?
No, I'm not.
And they still have Carr and Allen. Yeah, sorry, it's gonna be rough for Saints fans. We do have another NFL roundtable coming up, maybe a couple weeks after the draft. So we'll be recapping the draft and free agency and all that kind of stuff. Bo and Sarah will be checking in again. So that should be fun. All right. I always like, first off, when it comes to NFL draft, I'm never that much into all the players. So when you show me the guard from Duke, I'm like, oh, that sucks. I just want everybody to draft quarterbacks and running backs. So before we get back into free agency, I do want to say this. How do you rank? Are you with the traditional ranking of the top 6 quarterbacks entering the draft?
I always felt like Caleb Williams was going to go 1, regardless of what people thought. So I'm okay with that. And then obviously with the Bears getting rid of Fields, they're trying to.
How do you feel like they treated him? How do you feel like that whole saga went down?
His entire career with the Bears.
Yeah,
I always felt like had he had a little more protection up front and a few more weapons, things would have turned out a little better. From the very few games that I watched from Chicago, it seemed like he was always scrambling for his life and doing whatever he could, just running around. But I never really felt like he had enough protection. And that's why I always said, like, why don't you just keep Fields? Technically, you could still draft Caleb Williams and use him as an asset if you want to trade him, if you want to, and get some stuff for him. But you need to build up that offensive line. But now with Fields gone, I feel like Caleb Williams is going to run into the same problems that Justin Fields is running into. And I mean, he's going to be a rookie in the NFL. It's going to be faster. I mean, he did what he could at USC, and they didn't have a defense. I mean, now the game's just going to be sped up. He's going to be running around trying to do what he can, but he's going to have a very, very rough 1 to 2 years.
Yeah, I agree. So Caleb Williams at 1. Oh, and for the Fields thing, I don't feel like they supported him enough early on, and then the only thing that they did right by him was let him kind of like there were several offers that they had, and they let him say no to several before he said yes to the Steelers. Right. So that's about the only good thing that he did.
I think he's happy leaving. I mean, I don't know if he thought he was going to go to Pittsburgh, but he's just like, look, if this is how it's going to be, I'm out of here. So
yeah. All right, so you got Caleb at 1. Who's your number 2?
It's a toss-up for me between Jaden Daniels and UNC. Drake May. I like Drake May's size. I think he's got a good arm.
Yeah, and he's
not as mobile as
Drake, so.
He's not as mobile as Jaden Daniels, which he might hurt him a little bit, but size-wise, I think if you put him in the right system, he'll be all right. So with that being said, I'll go with Daniels, then Drake May. Number 4, I don't know. I've been hearing that J.J. McCarthy's name has kind of been rising up in a few places. I think he's projected to go to New England. Last time I checked, if that is to happen.
New England would be but that would put him at the 3 spot, not the 4th one. So he has to jump one of the other guys if he does that. So, but that is accurate though. That JJ McCarthy, his stock is all over the place. Nobody really knows how to accurately say what they're getting from him. I do think he's kind of entrenched as the number 4 guy, but it's kind of like Michigan didn't ask him to do enough to where people know what they're getting yet. But who? And then that you got Penix and Nix. But yeah, go ahead. So ruin our show and tell us.
All right. Let me change it up. I'm gonna put Bo Nix. I forgot about him. Bo Nix at 4, then McCarthy at 5. No, then Penix at 5, and then McCarthy at 6. I think Penix has one of the best arms out of all 6 of them, accuracy wise, etc. I said this the other day.
Say what you said yesterday. Say what you said yesterday.
Bo Nix. Okay. Will you let me talk? I think Bo Nix, out of these 6 QBs, you guys heard it here first. Bo Nix is going to have the most successful NFL career. Of course,
so for those out there wondering, yes, I am looking for a new co-host. So we'll see how.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, listen, when they got Caleb Williams projected as one, I've already went on record just about a couple minutes ago saying I don't know how he's going to do. He's going to have a rough few years. And if Bo Nix can land at the right spot and maybe just build behind somebody for 1 or 2 years, that'll be perfect for him. I think he's got the size, he's got the arm, he's accurate, he's mobile, etc. He's everything you want. But we'll see what happens. Again, I'm confused about McCarthy. I have no idea where he's going to land. I think the thing about McCarthy is that we didn't really get to see too much out of him this last year at Michigan because of the system that they played. They ran the ball a lot. And they didn't really need him to throw the ball as much as other quarterbacks. You didn't see him with a lot of 300 plus yard passing games because they had Blake Corum and who's the other gentleman?
I don't even remember that Michigan had a team last year, buddy. Look, if I got to tell you that I forgot everything about Georgia, I'm gonna have to tell you I forgot everything.
Shout out to Mr. U. I hope Mr. U was listening.
I'm gonna hear about it tomorrow during that Wednesday wrap up. That's for sure. If we don't get the text message about it, so All right, what do we want to? Yeah, we got about 20 minutes, so let's get this. This will be a transition into some college basketball. So, always keeping us surprised on the NBA. Roger, you disappointed that your Lakers are nowhere up here and that you haven't done a Lakers minute all year?
No, not disappointed, not surprised. I think we are. I mean, we kind of did this to ourselves. There was a couple of games during the middle of the season. One, the other day when we lost Saturday night to Golden State, Anthony Davis got hurt again in the eye in that game. That kind of hurt.
Wasn't he scratching his eye and then hurt himself?
It was so weird. He went out. He came down. I think somebody hit him in the eye, and at first I thought he just poked him in the eye or whatever. But apparently it was worse than that. So he left the game. That kind of hurt us and hurt us in the interior. So we lost that game. We had one big with Atlanta last night, but that's the Hawks. Everybody's beating the Hawks. Right now we're going to end up in the play-in. There's like 11 games left, and we're like 3 games behind the 7th spot. So regardless, I mean, if we make it to the playoffs, we'll get lucky. But if we have to beat Golden State, then we have to play either Sacramento or Dallas. Those teams have given us trouble all year. So
you got to beat them
just to get in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I was thinking, did you have to beat them twice? But I guess they'd have to lose and then lose again. So yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I still think Boston and Denver is the most likely matchup. The Bucks still sit at number 2, and every week I say the same thing. The Bucks don't know what they're doing half the time.
I think Denver is the best team in the NBA right now, just roster to roster. Best player, they got probably one of the best players in the league in Jokic. Jamal Murray's still hasn't made an All-Star team, which is funny, but he should have. Great guard. And then, I mean, you look at Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Reggie Jackson, KCP, everybody. They've got the best roster. So I think it would be Denver and Boston. Keep in mind, the Lakers, since you brought them up, beat Boston without AD and LeBron this year in Boston. I see it. We'll get to that one day.
Oh, And he says that. So for those who didn't see, we had our first space this past Friday night, and we had some topics, just regarding people's Hall of Fame candidacy in the NFL with Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, and Donovan McNabb. And one of the future spaces is Jordan versus Kobe. Oh no, I'm sorry, Jordan versus what's the guy on the Lakers name? LeBron. Jordan versus LeBron.
I can't wait, and I can't wait. Just let the record state that Herb and I, we still have Jordan as number one, but I am a huge LeBron fan. Herb, have you always been anti-LeBron, or just not a big fan, or just kind of in the middle, or what?
I'm neither. Like, I respect his game. I just don't like when it gets to the point where, if I say, hey, man, I'm a Jordan fan, I've got to listen to, LeBron this and LeBron that. I didn't say anything about LeBron. I just said
I'm with that too. It just got after.
Well, and people try to trash him. That's what I'm kind of getting tired of. Like, Jordan didn't do this or do that. I'm sorry. The man won 6 championships and was the greatest of his time. So, don't even understand it. They act like if I said I think LeBron is number 2, for some reason they act like that's the biggest insult. If we had the second best podcast in the nation, do you know how happy I would be right now?
Right. Exactly. At the end of the day, it's always going to be subjective. I mean, you can make valid points on each end, and obviously we'll do that on an upcoming spaces. So I'll have to have my notes prepared. I think it's going to be
hopefully you do better than that debate you just lost again.
I'm not going to win any of these debates, so I can't do any better than that. You've always got your backup prepared. So anyway, upcoming spaces. We'll let everybody know about that when it's going to go down. The Jordan, LeBron debate, the GOAT debate, and we'll see how that goes. I'm sure everybody's got their names in mind, so we'll see.
This Friday, people are out of town, and we're thinking about moving it to an earlier night to hopefully drive more engagement. So Friday was just a test run and the first time that we could kind of get together and try it out. But we are hoping to get a more regular date. There's 4 of us that are kind of behind it. Me, Raj, Mr. U, and Football Talk with Bo. Our goal is to at least pick times when we can at least get 3 of us on at the same time. So that's what's going to drive us in the future. But thank you for the question. We appreciate it. So,
and plus this Friday, Alabama plays in the first round of the tournament. Our game is at 6:30 this Friday night, so I will be watching that game.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue, Raj, into the brackets. Now, if you missed it, we had a live event, the 2 of us and Big Mike, this past Sunday, where we did some bracket talks and we did our original bracket picks. Now, I was under the impression that we'd probably pick them and then pick different, but Mike said whatever he said on the show goes. So he is throwing his out there. But you can still see it on YouTube, and we're loading it up to Spotify or, Apple Podcasts or wherever else you see podcasts. You can go check out our picks in depth. But first, Raj, let's talk about the stuff that's most important to us first. How far is Alabama going to make it in this? Or I guess backing up, were you okay with their seeding? Which the answer is yes.
I'm fine with our seeding. I thought we were going to end up as a 3 or 4. We ended up as a 4, and I think we kind of got lucky in our bracket. So I'm
Lady Alpha did have a good rendition of "Baby Got Back" that she sang on the last.
she
page.
did.
So we're definitely going to try and make sure you get in on the next one. So
yes.
All right, go ahead, Rod. I'm sorry. What you saying?
No, I'm happy with our seeding. I think had we played a little better in the SEC tournament, obviously we would have been a 2 or 3 seed, but that didn't happen. I think we got kind of lucky, to be honest with you. And it's easier to say that now just by looking at the matchups and the names, and I think that's what I'm doing, and that's what a lot of people are doing. But at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to what type of basketball we play this Friday night and so forth and so on to see how far we advance. Right now, I see us going to I can see us going to the Sweet 16, winning those first 2 games and making it there, if we get lucky, and that's especially in that second round game.
That unfortunately we're in the UNC bracket, so we're going to lose Randy's.
Right now we are on a collision course with them if things play out that way.
I hope so, E. And thank you again, E, for keeping us surprised on basketball.
Yes.
I guess the question for one of these is, and I'm sorry, that's what I was going to do. So, Roger, we're talking about the Lakers. Our guest for next week is actually a Lakers fan as well. So you'll have some backup for
Okay, awesome.
But It's just weird, like, because we have like the best offense in the nation and one of the worst defenses, and the two of them, don't like ever. Oh, Randy, I guess because Randy doesn't fill out brackets. Yeah, UNC is the number 1 seed and we're the 4, so we've got to meet them to go anywhere.
And that's
it's so hard to predict. Okay, let's say you do 10 brackets, Raj.
Yep.
How many of them are you filling out with Alabama winning the whole thing?
Honestly, 0. with the way we play defense, this year, it. Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase that. If I fill out 10, are any of these monetary? Am I paying for any, like $10?
$20 entrance fee for every single one of them.
We're not gonna win the national championship. Okay. The best chance we ever had was 2004 when we made it to the Elite Eight, and then last year's team. I really thought last year's team was gonna make it. I did. I felt like last year's team, offensively and defensively, we had everything put together.
Oh, right.
This year, we've got the offense, but defensively, that ain't it. That's not it.
Right.
So.
Right.
And I'm telling the truth.
I mean, yeah, but that's just funny. Out of 10, you're like, you won't even throw $20 at either one. So what is the absolute ceiling? What is the best it gets this year for Alabama basketball in the tournament?
If we can beat, this is the thing. Right now, we could be possibly be on a collision course to play North Carolina.
Right.
The question is North Carolina.
Randy is rooting against you then too. You got to keep that in mind.
The question is North Carolina going to make it that far? Because they have to play either Michigan State or Mississippi State in the second round, and one of those teams could possibly beat them. With that being said, I think Alabama's ceiling is probably the Elite Eight. That's if we could squeeze through that Sweet 16 game and get to the Elite Eight. I think that's where we can go.
So you get to the Elite Eight, about a month ago, North Carolina, huh?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Either we beat North Carolina or Mississippi State or Michigan State.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
You're saying at the bottom, Arizona or possibly, I guess, Baylor comes out of it. We can't beat one of them.
I don't think we can beat them. We already lost to Arizona this year. I have to take another look at Baylor to see what I haven't paid too much attention to Baylor this year. So,
yeah.
What do you think? Not what our ceiling is, but how far do you think we're going to make it just right now, off the top of your head?
Sweet 16 off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Charleston, I think, will outscore. And St. Mary's, they obviously play better defense. That's not really a thing, but I just feel like we'll come up with enough buckets to get by that one. So the funniest thing about it is if the way it was, like last year, the bracket fell apart and we couldn't make it. So I'm almost like, just let all the highest teams win and see if we can make it, because it didn't work for us last year anyway. So
yeah.
Miss Beast birthday tomorrow. I got
happy early birthday, Miss Beast.
Yeah, very happy. And I guess Randy will be on tomorrow too, so I'll have to check him out as well. So
yep.
And I could see this, yeah. That's why I'll do like one where like I just do the stuff I really want, and one where I do the stuff that I think is going to happen. And guess what? Both those brackets are awful every single year.
The way I fill out my brackets is I always pick, regardless of the analytics, I always pick the number 1 team to win their first game. I know there's been a few instances where number 1 lost. After that, if there's any game where I'm just indifferent about, I always go to the website. I look at the numbers. What are the experts saying? Blah 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 blah. But I do that every year, and every year somehow, some way, my bracket ends up getting busted. So it's just kind of like I don't know what to do. So
I feel you. What's up? Everything goes. Good to see you. Good to see you. For those of y'all watching, I guess that is the Twitter comments. Maybe the Twitter comments do come through. So I was under the impression they don't. We love the comments, folks. Please send them out. Let us know what's going on, who you have in your bracket. So, Raj, let's say you did 10 brackets.
Yeah.
Who do you have winning the whole thing the majority of the time?
I have to lean towards UConn right now.
Even with the repeat.
Yeah, I know. Even with the repeat, they still look pretty solid. They've got the big man down low. They've got a really, really good team. Second, I really want to say Houston, but after their showing in in their conference tournament game against Iowa State,
that was
I had to put a I had to put a big question mark there because they just look so horrible offensively. So I don't know.
That was mine, Raj. Before the thing, because you know how I do. I don't like to pick repeats.
Yeah.
Houston was my number one. And that game just scared me. So go ahead. Who else you got? Yep. See.
No, I like Houston. I like Houston all year. I like Houston all year because defensively, I think they've got one of the best defensive teams in the country, and I think that's what's going to help them win get through in the tournament. But like I said, when they played Iowa State, they just looked so bad. I was just like, man, what's going on here? But I don't know. I don't know what happened there. To answer your first question, I'm going UConn. I think I have UConn winning most of the brackets.
Yeah, and I just posted that, but everything goes agree with you. Yeah. So I have this thing.
Now watch UConn lose their first game to like Stetson, and everybody just be like, oh gosh, here we go with this crap.
Chris Hayes checking in. Good evening, yes sir.
Shout out to Chris. What's up, man? Yep. Thank you for joining in.
Definitely. Like I said, we love the comments. I read a lot of his stuff on Twitter too as well, so usually some good information there. What else? Oh yeah. So I just always have a thing now. Going against repeats would not have served me well in like almost all the sports recently, but I usually just pick against repeats. So, and it's funny you said Stetson because I filled out a ESPN bracket. I just hit the autofill just to say, and it came up Stetson, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna.
Oh my gosh.
So this one is interesting to me. Arizona is a number 2 seed, but they are probably the most overlooked number 2 seed. For you to call a 2 seed a sleeper is usually funny, but I'm shaking my head because nobody is talking about Arizona. We're acting like
nobody's talking about them
to the tournament. So
I mean,
they're in our bracket, North Carolina's bracket, but I could see them. I think when we filled out our thing, at least 2 of the 3 of us had Arizona winning that side, I think. So
I could see that happen. I could see them coming out of the West. I mean, obviously UNC is the number 1 seed, but Arizona's got a good team this year.
They do.
Of course, they beat Bama back when Bama was playing pretty well, but yeah, they've got a good team.
Bama
I can see it happening.
Very well.
Yeah, there was a point.
So let me ask you this.
Let me ask you this before we move on. Let me ask you this. How far do you think?
Go ahead.
Houston. Oh yeah. How far do you think Purdue makes it?
Man, so historically, Virginia lost as the number 1 seed and then came back to win the whole thing, right? Having said that, I do not have Purdue coming out. I think they have the weakest bracket.
No.
I do not have them coming out of the bracket. I just think they've got Edey in there, but they're not like a great defensive team.
Right. That's the thing.
They just lose. They lose inexplicable games sometimes, So I don't know. I'm not going to have them win the whole thing. If they do, great for them, but no. So, and we did discuss this. So I'll give you kind of the shorter version. Houston was my number 1 seed and my number 1 pick to win until the Iowa State game, and that just kind of scared me. I think they play tough defense. That's what you need tournament time because that travels more. I'll probably still, and again, I say that 2 of the 3 people on our pick show on Sunday night picked Houston to make the national championship game. So if it weren't for Iowa State, Houston would be my pick to win the whole thing. After that, I'm just kind of like, I'll have to talk myself back into it. But Houston is tough.
I agree.
I'd have to probably say Purdue again. Would be my pick as the first number 1 seed to go. So
yep. I'm the same. I don't think Purdue makes it out of their bracket.
Yeah. So I think that'd be that number 1. I would say almost if I had to pick them to lose, Purdue would be the first one, maybe North Carolina the second one, then Houston. So almost in the order I guess they kind of wrap around this way. So almost the reverse order there. So that game, if they make it Iowa State to the point where they're playing Illinois, that could be a really interesting game to see who goes to the Elite 8. So, the Big Ten little giants up there. So, but yeah. So, who do you think makes it the furthest from the SEC?
I want to say Tennessee. I'm looking at the bracket right now. I want to say Tennessee because they're in the same bracket as the same region. I'm sorry, as Purdue.
Thank y'all for the comments.
I don't know about. I'm going to say Tennessee. That's my first answer. I'm going to go with my gut answer.
Yeah. Unfortunately, your gut answer, but
yeah. That's
because we're inclusive to everybody, Randy. We just love the comments, so we don't really care who comes in and what you have to say. Like as long as everything keeps it clean, man, we love everybody. We appreciate comments, man. So we thank y'all.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah, he said Tennessee also. Tennessee just worried me how they ended the year. So I guess it's recency bias is because they lost their last two. But before then, again, it's kind of like the Houston thing. I would have been picking Tennessee, and then they would have been the number one seed had they won those last two games too. So
I agree. And it's funny how the conference tournament games ended up with like no number one seeds in the major tournaments. I'm sorry, no number one seeds winning any of the tournaments, and everybody just kept falling. I mean, the SEC, it was like 4 seed that won the whole thing. So I'm not gonna name their name, but it was a 4 seed.
I can't remember them. Must have been Mississippi State.
I don't know.
All right, let's get into the question of death. We're coming up against the top of the hour, needing to jump off. So this leads into my first question, Raj. 2-part question.
Yes.
First off, looking at your bracket, what is the perfect Final Four? The Final Four where you'd be like, "Ooh, I kind of like all these guys. This makes me happy." Obviously, Alabama has to be one. If you don't say Alabama,
yes, I was about to say Alabama won. Now that's the interesting question. By perfect, do you mean like what would be the best case scenario for Alabama, or just like this would be interesting?
You can pick either way. I'll tell you how I would have done it. Alabama and 3 16 seeds. But
yeah, that's why I asked. I would say Alabama and Stetson and okay. Alabama, of course, out of the West. In the East, UAB. We'll say UAB in the East.
Nice. Okay.
In the South, Duke. I want Duke because I want us to play Alabama to play Duke in the end. And I want us to beat Duke. In the Midwest, I'm okay with Purdue because so we can get a rematch against Purdue. Purdue beat us early in the year. I thought we should have won that game. If we just happen to play them again, I think we would beat them.
Randy's wife's birthday is tomorrow, or Chris, still with us. And with the Mount West getting 6 teams in, I just haven't looked at them enough. I think that's good. And one of the things about college basketball is you'll see more from the lower conferences. So I wonder what you guys think about the Big East kind of getting shafted outside of the top 3. So I thought that was a little more interesting too as well. All right, Rod, what's your nightmare Final Four?
For Alabama or what?
Nightmare Final Four, period. I'm assuming Alabama doesn't make it in your nightmare. No.
Yeah, Alabama doesn't make it. All 4 number ones because that barely ever happens. UConn, North Carolina, Houston, and Purdue.
I can tell you off the top of your head, Auburn and Tennessee making the Final Four is a nightmare Final Four.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that scenario. Yeah, we would never hear the end of that. We would have to listen to that until football season starts.
All right, work, play, live. This is a game that we came up with on the show. We give each other 3 names. And the person who's being asked the question has to figure out who they want to work with, as in 40 hours a week, whatever job. Play with, as in like, hey, we're going out on Friday night, we're having a good time. And live with, as in live next door to. This is your next door neighbor, the person you see in and tells you have to cut your grass. So,
please say Beyonce. Please say Beyonce.
Procter, Downs, Bond.
Oh. Oh my goodness. I don't want to play with any of those guys. You know what? No, hold on. Let me rephrase that. I'll play with Proctor because he's big, and if we go out and have a good time, he can protect me from anything that's going to happen. He'll be my security
where are you? Yeah. Which, by the way, this is a great comment. Yes, it does.
I'll live with Caleb Downs. And I'll work with Isaiah Bond. That way we can talk about 4th and 31 during our lunch break.
Wait. So you live next to Caleb Downs?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. So I can try to convince him to come back?
Good.
Every one of our conversations, he'd be like, "Hey, Raj, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh man, not as good as those 18 national championships. How you doing?"
All right, quickly, last one then, Raj. All right, you're trying to come up with the perfect podcast, okay?
Yeah.
So you got to pick your guests, all right?
Okay.
1 current NFL player, 1 current NBA player, not named LeBron, one former Alabama player from Saban's era, and one current Alabama player. These are the guests that you want. And yes,
current NFL player.
Kat, we know that that was actually Germinator who caught that pass from Milroe.
Current NFL player.
Oh, they think he loves Tennessee over there, Raj.
Current NFL player. Obviously, I'm going to go with Tua. No. Yeah, I'm going to go with Tua. He's my favorite quarterback right now, my favorite team. I'm going to go with Tua. Current. What was after NFL player?
Current basketball player not named LeBron.
I'm going to go with Anthony Edwards. That way I can ask him about the dunk that he did yesterday.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you see the replay of that dunk? Whoa. Yeah. And I think he's the next big thing coming out of the NBA. Former Alabama player under the Nick Saban era. I'm going to go with probably Tony Brown. And I'm like, dude, what was going on through your head through those couple of years you were at Alabama? That dude was crazy. That dude was crazy.
I assume you would ask him that question, but not be in the same room as him.
Not in the same room. I just like, listen, just, you can type it or I'll text it to you and you can answer on air, but I'm not going to be next to you. That guy scared me. And current player, I'll go with Ryan Williams.
You're not going to pick the Germinator, the guy who's going to make you rich?
No, I'm not going to pick the Germinator. I'm going to pick Ryan Williams just so I can talk to him, see where his head is.
Crazy Tony. All right.
Yeah, Tony Brown.
Everything said they just had Rob Ryan on tonight, so that I'll have to go check that out.
Wow.
I'm going to check that out.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, everybody, we appreciate all the comments, all the love. Randy, happy early birthday to your wife, to Miss.
Happy early birthday to Miss Beast. Yes.
Raj, another great show. Appreciate you,
yes,
sir. Do you want to check this one more?
Oh my gosh!
I was trying to find the outro, Raj. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button.
Whatever.
So, for the Herbert Raj podcast, Sports Talk with JB coming on next week.
Yep.
Like I said, he's a Lakers fan, Raj, so you have a little backup. Very, very excited about that. So we've been getting good with the kid. Well,
we've been doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Thank you for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
and thank you for everybody to tune in tonight. We appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. For Urban Raj Podcast, we appreciate everybody. Y'all have a wonderful night, and as always,
Roll Tide.